Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne. I got a video for that Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. In today's video, I'm going to tell you the number one thing veterans fail to do when they submit a high-level review, also known as appeals. Make sure you stick around. All right, everyone, before we get into today's video, make sure you click the link in the description section and get signed up for our upcoming educational webinar on the VA claims process. I will be facilitating this on August 13th and 14th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So today's video, what is the number one thing that veterans fail to do before they submit that 0996 for the high-level review, also known as appeal? And that is, they fail to submit the FOIA request to get a copy of their VA claims folder. That's the number one thing veterans fail to do. Now, I'm going to give you some examples, but this is mine on CD, okay? Now, a lot of you probably already saw this, okay? This is my paper file. And this is the way they look in this same folder when I first started rating, and we were adjudicating these before the VA went to electronic, VBMS-R, okay? We had to sift through all these. I don't know if you can see some of these tabs down here, the orange tabs, and they would say, hey, you got to start tabbing veterans' information or evidence like the 526CZ and all that stuff. And we was like, okay, give us the tabs. No, you have to go to the store and buy your own tabs. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And it took up a lot of time. So I know a lot of you are going to be like, man, Dwayne, that's a lot. This is like 5 years worth of stuff. And trust me, the older raters, they would probably look at this and be like, okay, that file is not big. This is 2 volumes. I've seen these be up to 15 to 20 volumes, okay? Because veterans just continuously send in information. But this is the number one thing that veterans fail to get. Now, why is it so important? When I went to my appeal, I had that paperwork that I just showed you. I didn't have CD. When you asked them for a copy, they sent you paper. Okay, now you get the CD, right? So it's very important, and that's how I was able to win everything I appealed, because when I kept everything that the VA sent me, and I kept a copy of everything that I sent the VA, I went into the appeal, I had full transparency. Okay, full transparency. Whatever they were looking at, I had it. Now it's even better because it's on CD. Now, let me give you some examples. Let's say you're claiming migraines. Okay, you're claiming migraines. You were actually treated in service for migraines. You have a copy of your service treatment records showing a diagnosis while on active duty. You submit a new claim, okay? The VA schedules you for a CMP exam. You go to the CMP exam, you explain to that examiner, hey, while I was on active duty, had a diagnosis of migraines, and I'm still continuing to get treatment to this particular date. CMP exam goes back to the regional office that has been assigned to adjudicate that claim. The rater gets it, and the rater denies it. Bear with me. The rater denies it based off the information in the CMP exam. They send the veteran a letter denying the claim, and that letter is the notification letter and the rating decision, right? The veteran gets it. They don't have a copy of anything. They don't have this CD, no nothing. They jump on YouTube, they go on Facebook veterans group, and another veteran tells this particular veteran, oh, just do a high-level review. Well, we all know when you claim something on direct basis, you need 3 elements. You need a current diagnosis, a link in service, and a nexus. So if you had a CMP exam, it wasn't the rater saying no, it's the doctor that said no. And the doctor has to provide a rationale as to why they said no. Okay? Now, veteran submits a high-level review. High-level review, you have to argue fact or law. Veteran does not have the CMP exam. So they don't know why that examiner said no. Okay? So this is why it's important. You have 365 days to file a high-level review. You get the rating decision in the mail. Oh, they denied me. You immediately put the request in, the FOIA request in, to get a copy of your claims folder because you want a copy of that CMP exam to see what was the rationale as to why the doctor said no. Okay? Now, you put the FOIA request in, and I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, it takes months and months and months and months and months. Don't worry about that. I got you covered. I have a video, actually two, in an interview where I interviewed a veteran that followed my instructions on how to get that claims folder quick. So you submit the FOIA request and you watch that video I did about how to get your claims file faster. So in 2 months, you get it. You go to the CMP, you go to the section that has the CMP exam in it, and in the rationale, the doctor states, even though the veteran has a current diagnosis of migraines, there is no documented treatment in service. Now, early in this example, I stated you actually have documentation from service. So now you are ready to file that high-level review because now you can argue fact or law. And the fact that you're going to be arguing is, wait a minute, the RVSR should have sent this back to that examiner as an addendum due to the fact that there is a documented diagnosis of migraines in service, in my STR, service treatment records. Now, that's why, one of the reasons why it is important to have that CMP exam before you file that high-level review, because now you know the rationale the doctor provided for the negative opinion. Whew, man, that was a huge nugget. Hope you caught it. But for those of you that are still confused, don't worry about it. I'm going to give you another example, all right? Let's just say you're service connected for a back condition at 10%, and you feel that that percentage should be either at 20% or 40%. You file for an increase. The VA gives you a CMP exam. You go to the exam, and the doctor measures the range of motion, the forward flexion, the extension, the left and right lateral rotation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we all know, because I know everybody watched my video about how do the VA measure range of motion and what are some of the tricks that some third-party CMP examiners are doing as it pertains to not using a goniometer. So you go to the exam and the doctor refuses to use a goniometer to measure your range of motion, okay? So you go ahead and go through the exam. You get in the parking lot. You call 800-827-1000 and you report that you showed up for the exam for a back condition under the musculoskeletal body system. The examiner refused to use a goniometer to measure my range of motion. You get home, you get on your computer, you go to the VA's website, you download a VA Form 21-4138, and you state the same thing on that form. And then you watch my video of how you can upload documents to the VA's website using the Quick Submit link, okay? And you upload it there. Then you turn around at the same time and you submit that FOIA request to get what? A copy of your VA claims folder. Now, you get the CMP exam in the claims folder. In that CMP exam, guess what you see? The doctor stated that they measured your range of motion using a goniometer, but you know they didn't, so they lied. And I've seen this, okay? But now you're ready to file a HLR review, and you know what's going to help you win? You called in the day of the exam, and you sent in that 4138 informing the VA of this. So when you submit that 0996, here's something else you can do, because I got a video on this too. Man, I've been giving y'all a lot of good videos. So you call the 800 number again, 800-827-1000. Hey, I want to verify, have you all received my VA form 20-0996? Yes, we have. And as soon as they tell you that, then you go watch the other video that I posted about how to schedule your informal conference. If you opted in for that, okay? And you schedule it, and you can schedule it the next day, the same day, if there's time slots, or the next day. But if the 0996 is not a record, more than likely, they will cancel it, okay? Now, in the informal conference, what is the argument that you're making? The rater should have sent it back for an addendum, because not only did I call in the day of the exam, I submitted a 21-4138 stating the examiner failed to use a goniometer. Now, there is a 38 CFR and the M21 manual reference that talks about the examiner should use, or supposed to use, the goniometer to get the accurate measurement for range of motion. So as you can see in both examples, this is why this claims folder is so important, because now you have full transparency. And check this out. Woo! I'm about to give y'all a huge nugget. In both cases, you're asking the decision review officer to schedule you for another CMP exam, especially one for the range of motion. You're not asking for a higher percentage. You're asking, hey, I need another CMP exam to measure the correct range of motion. Now, let's just say you're not educated on this, but I'm going to educate you right quick. They schedule you for another exam. If it's that same doctor, you're at a crossroad. If you decide to go, now you have that CMP exam showing that they actually lied and stated they did use a goniometer. And that examiner should remember you, because in one of my videos about range of motion, I gave you the Amazon link where you can go and buy a pack of 3 of goniometers for like $7.99. And if they refuse to use it, hey, you remember me. I came in, you said that due to your experience, you didn't need to use a goniometer. But on the CMP exam, you stated that you did. Or you can just let the VA know, or the decision review officer, hey, if any at all possible, I prefer not to go back and see this same examiner. And again, where you're going to find that examiner's name? In your claims folder, and hopefully you kept the notification of them notifying you of who and when your CMP exam was, because the doctor's name is in that paperwork, okay? So that's the number one thing that I think veterans fail to do before they submit that HLR review. Get a copy of the claims folder. And I gave you a couple examples. Now, it could be other reasons. If somebody leaves me a comment and say, Dwayne, what about this? What about that? I'm just going to tell you, it depends, okay? I just gave you 2 examples. Now, that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And also, always share this video with other veterans. Thank you.